TCU Women's basketball in the Birmingham region, can they make a run to the Final Four?
You are Locked On Horned Frogs, your daily podcast on the TCU Horned Frogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
That's right, Locked On Horned Frogs, your team every day. I'm your host, Steven Simcox. Big 12 women's basketball, the TCU women, they won the Big 12 regular season. They won the Big 12 conference tournament. They're now headed to the NCAA tournament. For the first time in 15 years, TCU women's hoops will be playing in the big dance. Mark Campbell, his coaching staff, incredible job, incredible turnaround. They will play Farley Dickinson in the first round of the NCAA tournament in Fort Worth at Shellmeyer Arena, hosting the first two rounds of the NCAA tournament, which is awesome. They'll play Farley Dickinson, the 15 seed, and then they will get the winner of Nebraska, the 10 seed, against Louisville, the 7 seed. Some cool storylines in this region. First off, Louisville in a potential second-round matchup, if it goes chalk. Hailey Van Lith, she played at Louisville a few years ago. She was at Louisville and then went to LSU. Now at TCU, went to an Elite Eight with the Louisville Cardinals. And that's a program that's had a lot of success. They'll be coming to Fort Worth. They play Nebraska first, but potentially a second-round matchup there. Also, the 3 seed, Notre Dame, TCU played them in an early season tournament back in November or December. Can't remember exactly when, but TCU won that ball game. And that was, they beat NC State early in the year as well. And that was like the first, hey, this team might be really good. Like we knew they were going to be improved, but that was definitely a statement win. Then they go and beat Notre Dame, who at the time was the number 2 team in the country. And Notre Dame spent some time this year at number 1. And that was like, oh, wow, this is really a team that can go and can make things happen. Of course, that buzz sort of dissipated after losing to South Carolina. But bottom line, this is a battle-tested TCU team. They've played some really good teams this year. And I don't think they're going to be in any way intimidated by the NCAA tournament because Hailey Van Lith played in a couple of Elite Eights. Sedona Prince has been on Oregon teams that have made deep runs. Agnes Napu was a national champion at Stanford. Like they've been in big camps. Donovan Hunter played in the Elite Eight with Oregon State last year. They have a number of players that have experience. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. The 1 seed in the region, by the way, is Texas. But the first round game is against Farley Dickinson, a team that went 29-3 during the season, won the Northeastern Conference. Their best player is Tanisha Brown, who's averaging 14 points and 10 boards a game, shooting 53% from the field. Their last loss was to Rutgers back in December. So this is a good basketball team that TCU will be squaring off with in round 1. And they'll play another good basketball team in round 2. That's what happens this time of year. But TCU is a group. Listen, the 1 seeds, UCLA, which has been number 1 for most of the year now, South Carolina, USC, Texas, all really good teams. It does feel like, though, for a long time, women's basketball, you could almost before the season pick out your Final Four teams. Maybe you'll get one surprise, but for the most part, you sort of knew what the deal was. There's been more parity around the country this year. Number 1 hasn't been number 1 all year long. Like I said, Notre Dame spent some time there. UConn spent some time there. UCLA's been there for a while. It's been a revolving door. And TCU has some big wins on their resume. They also have a loss against one of those 1 seeds that was very one-sided. But they've got good guard play. Hailey Van Lith and Madison Connor are the names to know there. But an underrated aspect of this team, I really like what they did moving Donovan Hunter to that full-time point guard role, because it gives Hailey Van Lith, it allows her to play off the ball. It allows her to not expend so much energy getting the ball up the floor, getting the team in their sets. It's been a good change for this team. Sedona Prince is a force defensively, and she can hit shots in the mid-range. She can down low and get her own look in the post. What really impressed me in both Baylor games, this is a team that can score the basketball. That's what they want to do. They want to spread you out, spread, pick and roll, get the ball to their shooters. Taylor Bigby needs to find her shot a little bit more. But they've got multiple three-point shooters on this team. Dribble drive, kick out, dribble drive, get your own look, dribble drive, get it back to Sedona Prince either on the pick and pop or roll into the hoop. But in those Baylor games, both in the regular season finale in Waco and in the Big 12 tournament championship, they struggled to score at times. You know what? They locked down defensively. They rebounded the basketball. They played tough. They played gritty. They found a way. That's what March is about. Can you find a way? Now, a Sweet 16 rematch against Notre Dame with Hannah Hidalgo, who's an outstanding player, that's tough. That's a tough draw. But hey, if you make it to the second weekend, you're going to be playing really good basketball teams. That's just the bottom line. I want to come back and talk more about this. Also, the TCU men, their season's over. That's coming up next year on Locked On Horned Frogs, your team every day. Hey, don't forget FanDuel, FanDuel.com or the FanDuel app. Perfect time to get on the FanDuel app. New customers, $200 in bonus bets if you hit your first $5 bet. Men's and women's tournaments, plenty of sports going on, but it's March Madness. Perfect time to join in, make some bets, make some money. FanDuel.com or the FanDuel app. New customers, $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet hits. FanDuel, it's where the game starts.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the bracket breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon.
I was trying to play a video there, but it didn't work. Let's see if this works. Sorry, I was trying to play Isaac Shade and Andy Patton. If you're into March Madness, they're doing bracket breakdowns every weekend during the NCAA tournament, which is awesome. It's going to be shows at studios in Dallas. Locked On Network continues to grow. But getting back to TCU Women's basketball for a minute. So, playing in the NCAA tournament for the first time in 15 years. The big three, Sedona Prince, Madison Connor, Hailey Van Lith, they have to be good. I was really impressed with what Hailey Van Lith did in the Big 12 tournament championship game. I will say this. There have been times this year where teams have blitzed her in the pick and roll. They have trapped her. They've been physical. And I think she struggled a little bit. She was great in that championship game against Baylor. And this team will go as far as she can take them. She has to be the best scoring threat. She has to break people down off the bounce, hit those pull-up jumpers, hit threes, spread the floor, all of it. Madison Connor, I've said this before. I really think she is what unlocks this offense. When this team is at their best, Madison Connor is running off screens and hitting threes and spacing the floor. Because when she's doing that, it adds another dimension to this team that makes them really tough to stop. Sedona Prince has been honestly the most consistent player on the squad. Now, can they get more from their bench? Can they get more from their role players? Taylor Bigby needs to find her shot. Aaliyah Robertson, need more from her. Daisha Merrill's giving you some good minutes this year. Maybe she can give Sedona a rest every now and then. But you're going to have a roster that's 8 or 9 deep in the tournament to be successful. I'm excited to watch them go on this run. The men, they had an invite to the college basketball crown, according to Nick Giramonti of Frogs Today and Sports Illustrated. They declined it. The college basketball crown, it's their first year doing this tournament. In Vegas, 16 teams, March 31st through April 6th. Apparently, TCU decided, you know what? We don't want to wait that long. We want to go ahead and focus on next season. So no more basketball for Jamie Dixon's squad. Their season comes to a disappointing end in the Big 12 tournament. But we'll see how they bounce back and how they try to recover and recuperate this roster moving forward. TCU Women, they play Friday. Don't know what time yet, but Friday against Farley Dickinson at Shaw-Meyer Arena. Chance to see the girls a couple more times this year. We'll have plenty of coverage of that and more. It's on Horned Frogs, your team every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for joining us.